back in Salt Lake City, Utah for this round of 8 action. Andy Nett versus Charlie Shanks. When Charlie found out about Andy Nett being a potential matchup here in the quarterfinals, he started texting away.
Yeah, the phones were buzzing when he saw that draw sheet.
And I'm surprised that he finds Andy Nett a difficult round of 8. I mean, imagine what would happen if Charlie would have saw Emmett Peixote come up in his draw, because I know that he doesn't necessarily want to play Emmett Peixote.
Yeah.
But Andy Nett here is just warming up for his 40th straight minute as he gets ready for Charlie Shanks.
Well, Dave, our referee now, and Charlie Shanks doesn't have his gloves on right now, Dave.
Wow, that's going to be a fine.
Well, you remember last year, Charlie bounced in the first round here last year. He actually blamed you for not allowing him to warm up for as long as he wanted to.
Well, this year I gave him 40 minutes.
But you also said, look, you can, for every minute you're not on the court after 6, it's a $50 fine. So right now, Dave, he's at $100, and I don't know how long it takes you to get your gloves on, but it's at least another minute, so that'll take him to about 150. Let me just,
guys, here we go.
45, 46. So he does have another 10 seconds before he hits that 150 barrier.
Is Charlie
well,
Shanks.
we have the announcements coming on from Anthony Celesto as
Retrieving serve is Andy Nett.
Charlie Shanks will take a couple free practice swings here.
25, halftime at 15. Good luck, gentlemen.
Do you like the good luck, Dave, from the
don't.
referee? Okay.
I do like the let's play ball, but I don't necessarily like it.
0, play 0.
I'm trying to keep up here because I know that a referee is fined if
Short ball.
If he explains a call to the players. I don't know when the referee is sort of a fan/referee if he is also fined. You see some players that'll say good shot, or some referees that'll say good shot before calling the score. I don't think that's necessary.
Well, I don't like that at all, in fact. I don't want a referee telling me I made a good shot.
I think we'll hear a lot of that here today, Dave. In fact, I'll be counting.
Well, we just go ahead and put one on there.
Well, I'm not counting the good luck as a good shot, but I will be counting the good lucks. I'll also be counting the unreturned serves from both these giants. And by giants, I mean, Dave, 6'3 plus, both guys. Tallest guys in pro handball right now, and they're facing off.
I don't know about that. There's one guy that's ranked in around 20 right now in the pro rankings that's slightly taller than both. And that guy looks down slightly eye to eye down unless someone has a tall forehead.
Yeah.
Now,
Check the ball,
you're talking about elite players, but still in the top 20. Not necessarily true. So I hate to be that guy to
Well, I thought
you.
elite players was implied.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, no, it was to me.
You said in pro handball.
Well, when I talk about pro handball, I'm talking about elite. I'm not talking about single A. I mean, you don't talk about when they say the batting average leaders in baseball. You don't go down to single A and say, well, this guy's hitting 330 in single A.
Play 0.
It's just, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm there.
I'd like for you to leave there really quickly.
I know you take a lot of pride.
You might want to jump on a bus. Get the heck out of there really quick.
But, Dave, in all seriousness.
But really, get on the bus now. That's what I'm saying. As soon as possible.
But in all seriousness, what would you consider being ranked in that 20 to 23 range on the Pro Tour? Would that be the equivalent of single A, maybe still in the majors? I don't know.
I would say single A.
Okay. I'll just mark that down here.
Double A would be somewhere around 19 to
0, plays 2.
15-ish.
So what is the majors then? What's the cutoff for the majors?
About 14.
Really? So you go all the way from double A to the majors? What about triple A?
Those are the qualifiers. Qualifiers are triple A.
But that would play. You're talking about now the 11 through 14 guys.
Yeah,
you skip
about 14 and under, I said. And then elite is at 8. So
okay.
I implied that. I just thought that maybe.
No. But you said everyone in that under that top 14 would be major leagues. I think maybe we have a triple A group in there.
Yeah, possible. Just semantics.
Well, not really.
Charlie Shanks does not like the serve. Look how close he's getting up into the grill of Andy Nett here.
Does Andy Nett throw a deep crack in there?
No, serve it right down the middle. right at his feet with some reverse or just some kind of wrinkle.
Dave,
Charlie's doing that to get into Andy's face.
I'm going to come out and say, Dave, that Andy Nett is going to break his streak of quarterfinal losses here today.
I don't know. Let's just see what. Charlie gets up unreasonably close.
Well, you sound offended by it.
Well, it's odd.
Short ball.
Charlie backed off just a little bit.
Second serve.
But he was up near the dotted line there.
Not a good serve there from Andy, but Charlie reaches out and punches it. Andy had a pretty good look at that shot, and it looked like he was set up nicely, but just a terrible hand air.
I think his legs are too stiff.
Is that difficult, Dave, being a tall guy
Plays 4.
to get down and shoot those balls?
I believe that your timing has to be even better when you're taller, because it's just so much wingspan, the length of the legs. You have to have perfect timing.
3 plays 4.
A smaller player can actually make quicker adjustments with their feet. But on the other hand, there's some other things that a tall person can do.
Yeah.
You know, ceiling shots, you could be, a little bit more effective. And
4 plays 4.
going left to right, you might cover more of the court. Those are amazing serves right there from Charlie Shanks, but a great return.
I don't know how Andy got that back.
Well, he had to dive to get it.
Okay. Charlie Shanks with an amazing back wall game. Here's an example of it right there, Dave. Charlie Shanks already with 3 ace serves out of his 5 points. Andy Nett with just 1 ace so far. I think, Dave, we'll see a combined 12 aces here between these two, minimum.
Well, that should have been an ace from Charlie Shanks, and somehow Andy was able to put it in the perfect spot on the roof.
5 plays 4.
5 to 4.
I count an ace, Dave, in case you're curious. Not necessarily not getting your hand on the ball, but if the serve's just too tough to return, even if you got your hand on it, I count that as an ace. Now, if a server just gives you a big setup and you miss it, now that doesn't count as an ace.
Okay. I think that's how we'd all defined it. But
well, actually, in tennis, an ace is only if the returner doesn't touch it with his racket. So there's a little different here. Andy's got to close his stance there.
I'm going to call a screen ball.
Oh.
He was right behind you, Andy.
I agree with the call, actually.
Ball was up.
I agree.
Actually, I saw it going down.
No.
4 plays 5.
Andy had to go straight down the left there, and he didn't. Here's a big setup for Andy. If Andy's going to break, Dave, that quarterfinal jinx that he's got, he's going to need to execute the first strike, because he's going to get a lot of setups off the return of serve from Charlie Shanks, and that's a smart shot from Charlie. And he'll need to put that first shot away. He had a chance in this rally, didn't. The rally ended up being 16 shots. I believe, Dave, if Andy improved his first striking, that he would become that elite player.
Overhit. Overhit.
Well, I actually thought that was a good shot.
I like that right there.
I thought Andy hit a perfect crunch 2-wall pass, even though it came around the back wall.
Four plays 5. Short ball.
I think Charlie knows that if Andy gets hot, Andy just kicked the ball to the front there. And I think if Andy knows that, if Charlie knows that Andy gets hot, that's where I think Charlie has a problem with facing Andy in the quarters.
Serve.
But this is certainly a good matchup. I was wondering how many balls could be broken in this match, but with these panel walls.
Great shot from Charlie. Sets this up. And Charlie, just like any elite pro, will put that away almost every time. For those who follow the race tour closely, I know everyone listening does, Andy Nett clinched his first ever top 4 win against Charlie Shanks in Tucson this year. That was the 5th place final. Charlie came back and beat Andy pretty easily in Houston at the next stop. That was in the quarterfinals. And remember, Dave, the first time these guys faced one another was in Ireland at the World Championships, round of 16, and Charlie Shanks won that match easily. Of course, that's not in our race
6 plays
rankings
4.
or race statistics. That's a
Wow.
great serve.
Charlie, I saw it slide on the wall. I'm gonna ask my line judges. You agree? Both agree?
I
No.
saw
It
it
was
slide.
a slide on the serve.
No, I agree with Charlie here. It is.
Next time I'll look for it.
I don't know how the referee can look for it next time. It is what it is.
Well, the referee should be standing up, but you know,
We're
Dave,
gonna-
having
we're gonna
played
play it again.
in this court throughout the
I
day
call the
today,
slide
there
just
are no slides in the court. The court is
Two serves.
extremely dry, and I've played Charlie Shanks a lot, Dave, and I know when he hits that reverse on the right side wall that it does take off like that. And Charlie is right here, I'm going to say.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, I played against Luis Moreno, and he hits that same serve,
Charlie,
and
can you check the ball, please?
the ball looks like it's sliding, and it just doesn't slide. Well,
Just
at least
check it to him.
Anthony's playing this all the way to the card here. He's doing it the right way. I mean, if he's going to call it a slide, he's going to make Andy Nett clean the ball.
Well,
so
he's selling it right now.
he's selling himself.
6 plays 4
Wow.
over.
But
That's-
we're only talking about a first serve here, though, Dave. Jeez, and then he goes in, hits that reverse hook that goes into the sidewall.
talking to Kevin Price today, Dave, who played Charlie Shanks in the opening round here. Kevin's a pretty accomplished player. He's won a number of state titles,
Single
almost
A,
qualified.
single A?
No, he's not quite single A.
Okay, so
No, he's
rookie league.
he's actually American Legion ball.
Okay, well,
Good high level, mid-aged amateur is what
Okay.
I'd call him. But Charlie said, or excuse me, Kevin said, I've played a lot of guys. I've never seen anybody hit the ball as hard as Charlie Shanks. And that's a guy who's been in there with some pretty elite competition.
well, he scored 11 points off Charlie, which I thought was really respectable. Because you can see some of these guys get in here and score 6 or 5 or less against Charlie. Look at that get
Screen
right
ball.
there.
Hold on.
Andy wanted the screen up front when he had to go across Charlie to get to that ball that he threw to the front and back. And I think that's where that call was at, Dave. It was about almost 3 shots too late.
Dave, this is a huge
4 plays 7
match
over.
for the rankings for both guys.
7 plays 4.
If Andy wins this match,
Over.
we'll see a dramatic shakeup in the rankings. If he doesn't, the rankings will pretty much remain intact.
Wow, that ball was almost a crack and then almost slid down the wall. It had so much juice on it. These guys are playing close, Dave.
Oh, they're big guys. That's rare for Charlie to miss that shot. But these are big guys that like to hit the ball pretty close to their bodies.
4 plays 7.
Charlie's got such great defense on the return of serve. He fists the ball. He can go to the ceiling, Andy with the pre-dive, but he can also just punch it with power. It's almost like he's taking the pace of the serve and adding pace to it with the fist. Charlie
7
Shanks,
plays
Dave,
4.
is one of the most unheralded number ones I've ever seen. He's almost like Luke Donald in golf. Luke Donald was number 1 for almost 2 years, and no one even knew about it. No one knew him, and you know they were upset he was number 1. He doesn't make the rankings, and neither does Charlie. Charlie just shows up, and he's the most
8 plays
consistent
4.
guy out
Well,
here.
I thought it was more like
Wozniacki being number 1 in women's
Lee
tennis.
Westwood.
Well, Lee Westwood,
Just getting no credit whatsoever for being number 1.
that's true. Poor Westwood, Dave, has 15 top 3 finishes in majors and never a win. He's moved to Florida to try and be a little bit closer and try and
Andy-
take his game to that next level.
Andy
Andy,
Nett
did you
not
miss that?
playing
Hit
good
off your hand,
ball.
thank
That
you.
ball did hit Andy's hand.
Nine plays 4.
Charlie had Andy going the wrong way there, but caught the side wall. And Andy has to put that away. Good shot there from Andy. It looks, Dave, like they've fixed that problem with the door, which is nice.
It was a magnetic strip up there that was supposed to catch the
Oh, okay.
lever, and it didn't
4
work out.
plays
So they
9.
had our director, Linda Manning, help out, and she fixed it.
Yeah. Oh,
That ball hits Andy right square in the face.
you have to say it like that,
Well, that's what it did, and that's how it feels.
but you have to emphasize the face like that.
Well, he's got such a good-looking face.
That's true.
I mean, if the
Can't
nose
argue
of
with that.
George Washington fell off of in Mount
4
Rushmore.
plays,
Yeah.
9 over.
They would say, look at his face, right? Look at the nose.
Hmm.
Well, this is almost similar to that.
I can see how you could
There's
make that connection.
Thousands and thousands of fans were grasping for air there. There's a pre-dive.
Oh, nice shot there from Charlie. Andy with not a good shot at all. Andy's got to play a little bit more offense with his left hand, Dave. He hits the ball hard with his left, but he doesn't put the ball down with his left.
That was a strange shot right there from Andy. He made that good get. He was in the front court, and then he's hit a paddle 4 feet high into the left wall. I think he was trying to slice it down the left wall, but instead he hit the side wall first.
9 plays 4.
Andy Nett would jump over Emmett Peixote in the race standings if he were to win this match. If he doesn't, he won't be able to jump over Emmett. And that could have been an
Andy,
avoidable.
I'm going to call an avoidable hinder. You got up when he was right there.
No argument. Ball's
Oh,
broken.
Ball broke.
Andy's saying it broke before it. Now, this is going to be an interesting call here because how do you justify that?
Okay.
Well, the ref went out on that on the limb there, Dave. Made the call, and then it ended up.
He said the ball was broke before the hinder was
But how do you know that? Now you're
Well, I
going to
think
take his word on that?
You have to give him the benefit of the doubt there, I think.
Well, I stood up because it was broken? I stood up and wanted to play the shot because I already knew it was broken? Dave. He stood up to play the shot that he's saying was already broken.
Well, he might be saying that, you know, the ball was broken when I hit it, so I just stopped playing.
No,
I mean,
he
that could
didn't
be-
stop to play. He stood up to play the next shot. How do you stand up to take the next shot and then claim the ball was broken before you did that? I mean, he's got his hand back ready to hit the next shot. But I guess being on the cell phone and texting is more important than analyzing.
Well, I'm actually talking with J.R. Lugo, Dave, one of our All Access Pass members, saying that we're having a hard time with our webcasting, having some broadcasting issues, saying that we're offline and to
well-
come back later.
Well, we're not.
Okay.
That means when you get that message, that means that you've given more than one person
All right, guys.
your username and password, and he needs to find out that who that other person is, and they need to unlog themselves from their computer. That's called cheating, and we don't allow that here on the broadcast.
All right, here we go, Charlie. Nine plays 4 over.
That error message is only for those that have given their username and password to too many sources. I suggest you text
Already done.
and tell them to unlog that computer that's giving that message and log back in.
Great shot from Charlie. Takes a lot of patience to let that ball drop and fall off the side wall there. It came just far enough off for Charlie to get a swing on that.
10 plays 4.
10 serves 4.
Screen.
Is that an avoidable
Screen
there,
ball.
Dave?
He lifted his hand,
Screen
his
ball.
foot.
Well, I mean, Charlie hits
Oh, no,
the
he
ball.
He hit it so hard back at you.
No, he
couldn't
didn't,
move.
though. Charlie hits the ball back to the middle of the court. He's on the left side of the court, and he moved right into the ball. He straddled the ball. The ball goes through
10
his legs
plays 4.
because he moved to his right, back to the middle of the court. I think that's a clear avoidable there. And I think Andy's right to ask for it. And, Dave, things not going the Dreamboat's way right now. Dream just cannot seem to get anything going, Dave.
11
He can't
plays 4.
win rallies when he's serving. And that's a big problem. He's getting some side outs, Dave, but when he gets into serve, he's getting
Timeout,
0.
Andy,
And
that's your first. 12.
Charlie's coming in and scoring a
plays
few
4
points
when
each
we
time,
resume.
and that's why you see this big lead in the first half for Charlie Shanks.
1 minute.
There's a timeout being called here. 1 game to 25, win by 2. 15, once they get to that, it's a mandatory TV timeout.
A lot of players, Dave, try and come back before the 3-minute halftime is up, but they're informed that play won't start until the 3-minute break elapses, the full 3 minutes. We've got sponsors, Dave, that have paid to be part of this broadcast, and they need to be recognized. Halftime, Dave, is when sponsors have found that the most people are actually tuned in. So that's when they pay the most money to have their advertisements read and shown.
Okay. Well, you see that they catered some food into the club, and they want to keep it green here, so they have salads for everybody. At Oprah Winfrey's show, they asked everybody to look underneath the seat. They gave them all brand new cars. Here, look underneath your seat. We have a salad for you, fresh tossed salad.
So the Oxygen Channel can afford new cars for everyone in the audience? I don't even know anyone that has the Oxygen Channel.
It's not Oxygen, it's the O.
Oh, okay. You see how confused I am, Dave. I did see Oprah ask those very difficult questions of Lance Armstrong, who was so forthright, Dave, in that
12,
interview that he
4.
gave. If you ever want to know how to lie on top of lying, then just load that up on your YouTube.
Check the ball. Plays 4.
Andy fortunate there. Gave Charlie a big back wall shot, but it just catches up on the side wall, and Charlie has no swing.
4 plays 12.
Score is 4-12.
A great serve from Andy. And Andy finally gets his second ace serve there after Dave earning his second
5
point of the
plays
match
12.
23 minutes ago with an ace. He finally gets another one. And Dave, you've had a lot of success being a great server. If you have success, you hit an ace serve down the right, do you then go back down the right, or do you just go side to side and keep mixing it up? I mean, because you feel like if I keep going down the right, they're going to catch up to this and get their timing. If I go back and forth,
6
then
plays 12.
it's very difficult to get into a rhythm as a returner.
Each person has a different philosophy on that.
Yeah.
I've once heard that you just stick with what's working. But sometimes what's working isn't necessarily that serve. It's the fact that in
7
your
plays
head,
12.
you have confused them by going left to right. And that confusion is working, not necessarily the location of the ball. So you can go behind
Short ball.
yourself. And once you go over to the left and you are successful over there, now everything's working for
Second
you.
serve.
So going back and forth is actually the system. So each situation's a little different.
Well, I know, Dave, that you say that Luis Moreno is playing his best ball. Great shot there from Andy. When he is going side to side, alternating serving left and right. I believe Natti
8 plays
Alvarado
12.
does an amazing job of going both left and right. And he sells the fake.
And what's working at that moment is
And a mystery ball there from Andy. Love that shot.
for Natti when he goes left and right. That's the system. And he's going to stick to that.
Good play there. Good call from our referee to let the play continue.
Well, Andy Nett didn't like it. He made a quick look back to the referee. But go back to what I was saying there, Dave. The system is what's working. And that could be left, right, forward, back, hop down the middle. The system is what
12 plays
Natti
8.
Alvarado sometimes will find that groove. Not necessarily one particular serve
Short
that seems
ball.
to be better than the other.
Appeal.
He's looking for weak
Agree.
returns.
Both
And, of
agree.
course, aces are always great.
Second serve coming.
You know, Dave, we haven't seen one call overturned in this event by the linesman. Not one. We've seen,
Second serve.
Dave, 17 appeals thus far in this event. Every one of them.
Well, you're wrong there because Aaron Garner got overturned 2 consecutive times on that match with Emmett and Martin Mulkerns by his line judges, and you and I were both talking about getting him removed because of that. I said if it happened for a third time, we'd have to consider it. And I know
Great
you
shot.
remember that moment.
Well, I remember the the appeals judges agreeing with the referee, even though the referee was wrong.
No, it was 2 in a row where the referee stopped play on 2 aces that the line judges overturned him and disagreed with his short calls. He said there were 2 shorts. There were 2 balls that were actually good. They would have both been aces for Martin at a time when Martin was on that comeback.
So Martin played Aaron today. I didn't remember that match.
No, that was when Aaron was the referee and Martin was playing Emmett Peixote.
And that will go down as an ace there, Dave, even though it came a little bit off the back wall. It was just a little too hot for Andy to handle. So it does get tallied there.
Andy's one of the rare handball players that wears those Oakley-style goggles.
14 plays 8.
I know that Luis Moreno was wearing some strange goggles for a while, still does from time to time, sometimes with rose-colored lenses. And then Nadi Alvarado also wearing the Oakleys.
Well, he has the tear duct.
Oh, and that's a pre-dive from Nett, but he's unable to get to it.
Halftime, guys. 3 minutes. 15 plays 8.
We're going to take that 3-minute break. We'll be back in just a bit. Stick around for the conclusion of this match here at racerate.com. Stick with us.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting. So why would you do it while driving? Leave risky driving to the professionals. Stop the texts, and together we can stop the wrecks.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented Simple Green based on 3 principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards.
Oh, don't. Oh.
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay, here it comes.
Oh, Mom!
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you. Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting. So why would you do it while driving? Leave risky driving to the professionals. Stop the texts, and together we can stop the wrecks.
All right, guys. Andy starts. 8 plays 15.
Starting the second half here, Dave. Andy Nett serving first, and that is not the start that Andy wants, Dave. When you're coming into an 8-15 second half deficit, you want to get at least 3 points in that box when you're serving first. Instead, Andy gives Charlie a big opening. Charlie hits a flat rollout. And that's not a good return there from Andy. Big setup. Charlie reaches for it, but gets enough of it. Keeps the ball down right in front of Andy. And Dave, we've seen this before from Andy. He gets a little bit deflated.
16 plays 8.
And it seems like his level really drops because of it, just as anyone's does when they're deflated.
Well, I mean, what can you do with serves like that? I mean, if that can't deflate you, what can?
Well, that's
17 plays 8.
That's actually Charlie's 5th ace.
There's a little paddle right there from Andy Nett. This can be a huge setup down the right wall.
You
And
know,
he goes
Dave,
for the underhand paddle for some reason.
Charlie is just such an amazing back wall specialist, Dave. I believe the best on our tour and maybe the best in the world. I mean, he's just automatic off the back wall. You can't believe it.
8.
You remember,
He almost overhit that ball right into Andy's hand. Andy's having to go down to one knee to get those balls back. And when you play him, Dave, we're talking about when Charlie serves here, do you feel like sometimes you have to dive
oh my goodness,
for a ball?
on Andy's serve?
On Charlie's serve.
Yeah, it does happen
Do
quite
you
a
have
bit.
to get down to one knee?
Well, I mean, his serves are almost like kill shots
Timeout.
because they're so low. And, you know, when you're picking up a kill shot, a lot of times you have to dive.
Yeah,
And
oh,
it's
yeah.
the
He
serve
can
is
switch this on
basically
his index finger of
a
his
kill
left hand.
shot that you're trying to return from the
2-minute
restraining
glove
line.
change.
Andy Nett, Dave, just a terrible air there going into this glove change. He was a foot from the front wall and put it in the ground. That's actually, if you went in the court and practiced that, it'd be harder to put it in the ground than it would be to hit the wall, even if you were trying to put it in the ground.
You can see it. I agree with you. You can see Charlie Shanks there. Off to the left is Tracy Davis, photographer here for the WPH, as she gets kind of situated with what we do here on the Pro Tour. She very well could be the tournament manager at some of these pro stops.
Yeah.
But she's handling the camera, getting really into her work here. She said she'd like to take a class, but I said, you know, you're not going to be taking photos for the rest of your life. But she's a specialist. She wants to be good at whatever she does.
Yeah.
But Charlie Shanks here in this match at 19-8. This is a one-game match at 25, win by 2. And the winner is going to go up against Sean Linning tomorrow at 11 a.m. In the other bracket, it's going to be David Fink, yours truly, versus Luis Moreno.
So you're David Fink then?
I pointed at you when I said it.
But that still doesn't make sense
Well,
at all.
we're on camera, aren't we?
Well, I just don't know. Even if you're pointing at something, you say yours truly, you're still
Yours
talking.
truly.
Well, that's still wrong. You can
What do we have here?
try and justify it, but changing the subject's also good.
Well, it's been a great stop, Dave. Talk about the sponsors, if you can, and those that have helped organize this tournament in Salt Lake City. Ace Disposal, Dewey Bail Bonds, Ace Outdoor,
Yeah, Dave,
and then
these guys
Ruben
are
Garza and those folks.
just unbelievable here, Dave. And you hate to use those kind of superlatives, but I mean, these guys literally roll out the red carpet for you. I mean, Dave, we arrived here at the airport, and Andy from Ace Outdoor just hands you the keys to his car. You know, that's the kind of guys they are here. You know, we go straight from the airport to Dom Sinone's house with Dewey Bail Bonds, and he's got a cocktail hour party set up for us. And of course, Lon and Matt Stallsberg, Dave, the primary sponsors of this event with the Ace's business.
Plays 8.
And we'll be going to a special VIP dinner tonight and also tomorrow night's player victory party. Really just a great feeling to be here.
Contact.
There's a reason this has been voted the player stop, but Dave, we've had such great reception all year. It's like every
19
group
plays
has embraced us. That's an amazing shot. That's what you call a confidence shot there, Dave, when you're up 19-8 and you feel like I'm rolling here. So I'm going to start.
Charlie looks really good in this tournament.
Well, he's got a nice haircut, too. I think that could have something to do with it. Oh, you were talking about his play.
I was actually talking about the haircut.
Oh, okay. So we're on the same page then.
21
Oddly,
plays 8.
yes.
Yeah. Now, Dave, I'm going to actually start etching here, and we've got a really interesting playoff match tomorrow. It'll be Andy Nett taking on Martin Mulkerns. Yeah, that's a good one.
Andy will not win that match.
You okay, Andy?
Because Andy
You
might be
take your
injured and might be out of this
injury
tournament.
timeout.
Remember, he
15 minutes
dislocated his
if you'd like.
finger.
Yeah, I remember that.
You might remember that. I think he might have some. Look at Charlie's face here, Dave.
Is this the same finger, Dave?
I think he might have dislocated it again. Let's see what Charlie says. Thinks it's broken. Charlie just made it look like he severed his finger.
Oh, my goodness.
Charlie looks all pale right now, more pale than he normally is.
Yeah.
I think Charlie's kind of sick to his stomach. We're going to see a scratch here, and I think Martin Mulkerns is going to advance in here. I think Andy might have broke his finger again. He's had this problem at the last stop. Remember, in Colorado, he dislocated his finger.
And came back to beat Emmett in that match.
Came back, pulled it back into place. We had a doctor on site that came back and pulled it into place.
This is not a doctor in the court right now,
We have
by the
the
way.
three best-looking guys in the whole club are sitting here talking. I know they're not talking about that finger. Let's see what happens when Andy pulls that glove off, if we can see it.
Well, Dave, there might be a doctor or some sort of trainer on staff here. You see Andy has that finger taped up. And maybe that's why Andy's not shooting the ball as well with his left hand, Dave. He's got that broken finger on his hand.
It didn't break. That ball slid, and there it is. He just cued it right off the tip of that finger that he dislocated in Colorado, and it snapped backwards, and there's nothing worse than having a dislocated finger get Q-tipped by one of these traveling handballs, and that was because of a strange bounce on that side. You see that ball look like it slid. I know it was the way he hooked, but this might be a scratch.
Well, what's most frustrating, Dave, is you had no chance to return that serve, and then he goes for it and dislocates the finger. And I hate to make this about me, but I went through this in 2009 where I just kept hitting balls off the tip of my finger and kept re-injuring, and it's just so painful and so frustrating.
Now, Dave, something else that's coming up here is, I hate to say this because I think the situation warrants a timeout, but he's taken an injury timeout, and this is a pre-existing injury.
Well, I think he has a new injury now because he actually hit the ball on that finger, so that's a new injury
No,
as far as I'm
it's
concerned.
a dislocated finger that's wrapped up clearly as we saw it,
Uh-huh.
and he hit the ball on that finger, and now he's taking an injury timeout because of an injury that he already had.
But who's to say that this wouldn't have happened even if the finger wasn't taped up? I mean, if he hits that same shot and it hits his middle finger, it might have dislocated his middle finger.
Okay, so if I broke my leg and I walked into the court and I took a step, and my leg just snaps again as it was trying to heal off of my crutches, that's not a pre-existing injury because who would have known? I mean,
well,
it
no,
could have happened anyway.
If your leg was healed and you were in the court playing and you went after a ball and snapped it again, that would be a new injury as far as I'm concerned.
So it's completely healed when you have it all wrapped up in tape?
Well, that's precautionary. I don't know the
Really?
extent. I don't know the extent of his injury.
Okay.
I mean, I've taped things before just as a precaution.
Well, this was just 3 weeks ago that he dislocated it.
Actually, it was 5. And I
had to
believe
get it
5 weeks ago is a long enough amount of time.
Well, apparently it isn't because he just re-injured it on a ball that just came off the side wall. Not a big deal. I haven't seen too many people take this much time on any ball that's ever hit their finger ever.
I've experienced this before with
Not in our live
different
broadcast,
fingers.
we certainly haven't.
Well, no, I didn't say that, but I
But
have.
it just happens to be the same finger that he dislocated at our last
It's
pro
a
stop.
coincidence. I know I went through a problem with my ring finger on my left hand throughout an entire season, and I kept hitting it off the tip. If it would have hit the tip of the pinky finger, it would have been just as bad. It just so happened I kept hitting the tip of the ring finger.
Okay. So when he hit it off the tip of this pre-existing injury that's now healed and has precautionary tape, it jarred a new
Could have.
injury. Okay.
Could have.
All right.
I'm not a doctor. I know you think you are, but I'm not going to try and guess whether he's re-injured or.
Well, that brings me to my debate with you over that cramping as an injury comment, because I was cramping and I decided to try to play through it, and I ended up pulling a ligament because I thought it was a cramp, but it ended up not being a cramp.
Andy, you okay?
And Dave, I really am empathizing with Andy right now. I hate to see, one of our top players in so much pain, and now Charlie's in a difficult spot because does he just pepper balls to Andy's left?
Absolutely.
I mean, okay.
It's a pro match here.
Okay.
He's not out here to worry about Andy's feelings.
But he does, though. These guys are buddies. It's hard to separate that sometimes. I mean, I played my buddy the baby this morning, and, I want my buddy to do well. But at the same
All
time,
right, guys, play resumes.
you have to do what you do.
Andy used 4 minutes and 40 seconds of your 15-minute timeout. 22 plays 8.
You sound unhappy about that, Dave.
Well, that's not an injury timeout. That you can't take that. It's already a pre-existing.
I don't think you understand pre-existing. Pre-existing is a gray area, much like where to drop the golf ball when you hit it off the stick into the water.
8 plays 22.
I mean, you know, the hole is 510 yards long, and they say drop it near the point where you
What's going on here?
where you hit it in the water. I mean, you dropped it 2-3 feet away on a 510-yard hole. Is that not near? I don't. To me, it's near.
Well, it is near,
9
but then when
plays
you
22.
Now, if you're playing putt-putt, Dave,
it's
okay,
near.
and you're taking a drop, and the hole is only 10
Short
feet
ball.
long.
I thought
and
that
you-
ball was good,
Field.
Dave.
I agree with you.
Both agree.
And we were once again
Second serve.
overturned here, but go ahead.
But, you know, if you're playing putt-putt and the hole is 12 feet long, and you take a drop 2 feet away from where it went out of bounds or into the clown's mouth, then I could say you weren't near. But when
Yeah.
you're talking about a 510-yard hole, and you've
Well-
dropped it within 2 or 3 feet of the spot, I think that's near, as far as I'm concerned.
I tend to agree, but
But
when they talked to Tiger afterwards on TV and
Yeah.
he said, I pulled back 2 yards so I could because I was hitting the ball too hard, too strong.
22 plays 9.
That's him indicating that I purposely went back 2 yards, and that's exactly where they kind of estimated it. So, yeah, you're right. It is still technically by the term near, but he admitted that he dropped it 2 yards further back because he was hitting the ball too hard. So he kind of
he implicated himself.
implicated himself.
Yeah.
Now, their initial
9
ruling
plays
was to allow
22.
him to go ahead and play because they said, well, under the technical term, near is near, but then after the interview, that's where they had problem, and that's where Tiger Woods. We're talking about the Masters here, of
Hit
course.
him. Thank you.
That ball
Check the
hit
ball.
Andy Nett. So Dave,
Well, it's actually the problem was a TV viewer called in. That was, you know,
9 plays 22.
wouldn't have never been considered.
well, they have a rule for that.
If we only had viewers, Dave, maybe we'd have people calling in.
Maybe.
Instead, we have people stealing our service and complaining that it's not working. So
22 plays 9.
It's so funny.
sad, but. And Dave, you have to wonder at this point, great shot from Charlie, will Andy be able to play in Seattle? Seattle's only 2 weeks away.
He'll be there.
Okay. He's a gamer. You know, you almost have to tell
23
yourself,
plays 9.
Dave, as a player with an injured finger like that, there's certain balls you just don't go for. You say, you know what, there's going to be, that's painful, but there's going to be 3 or 4 shots in the match where I'm going to be risking hitting the tip of that finger, and I'm just going to let that ball go.
Charlie really wants everybody to know that that hurts.
Well, that's the most painful spot, I believe, to get hit in, on the
23
revolving
plays
door,
9.
on that soft skin on the back of your leg, just below the buttocks.
Wow, look at that get right there from Charlie. And the crowd likes it.
Screen ball. Screen ball.
The referee could tee up Andy for that last little hit right there that made Charlie go up to get the ball, but I don't think that happens. There's no technicals in Salt Lake City.
23 plays
After
9.
I don't know,
6
Dave,
o'clock at night.
that there's been a technical call this year on the
Short
Race
ball.
for A Tour. I know that's something that you track, but I can't
Second
remember
serve.
one called this entire season.
Now we're at 24 game point, and you see Charlie just not letting up. He's hitting every ball to that broken / dislocated pinky on the left hand
Possible
of
match point.
Andy
Serves
Nett.
9.
Well, you know, Dave, this morning was a morning of upsets, as you saw 3 qualifiers take out 3 of the Elite 8 pros, but now that we're down to the semifinals, you see all top 4 seeds still alive. So the cream has risen, as they say, to the top.
9 plays 24.
Andy hits the deck more than anybody I've seen, except for Anthony Celestio as referee. But at this level, he's really on the floor a lot for a big guy like
24
that.
Yeah.
plays 9.
I saw a handball player once tell me, I used to dive and then I got good. Was
Ooh.
not a very good handball player, by the way. But
Well,
I still
clearly
love
if-
the quote.
Yeah.
9 plays 24.
Well, everybody has a different stance on what a good player is.
I saw good.
And Charlie is relentless here.
Both agree,
Appealing
point.
serves. Andy now has
10
4
plays 24.
aces. Only 10 aces combined make that 11 now in this match. I predicted 12, Dave.
Plays 24.
And Dave, immediately following this, we'll go to the senior tour, the senior race for 8.
Short ball.
That was short. That might be appealed, but I thought it was short.
Now I know, Dave, that you're very much looking forward to that Matt McLaughlin, Dan Armijo clash.
Well,
They've played twice, actually. McLaughlin won both
Second serve.
encounters.
Well, McLaughlin's going to find out what it's like to play a warmed up Dan Armijo late in the evening when the crowd's been.
Well, Armijo actually does play better at night because he's nocturnal. He sleeps during the day.
Wow, that's a laser right there from Andy Nett.
If you're an Andy Nett fan, you have to wonder, where was that shot earlier?
Well, after he broke that pre-existing condition,
Yeah.
12.
it seemed to
plays
wake him up just a
24.
little bit. 12 to 24.
Well, I think when you've got that bad left digit, clones, you end up playing a little bit more aggressively with your other hand,
Well,
as you know.
you don't want it to go to the left. This is where Charlie's dangerous. Look at that. Andy's so mad at himself right now.
And Andy actually expressing himself audibly there, which you never hear.
Plays 12.
Charlie hits an off-speed reverse, and he ends the match there, Dave.
Nice game, guys. Great playing.
Charlie Shanks advances here 25-12, Dave. And for the first time this year, Charlie Shanks will play Sean Lenning. Those two, for whatever reason, haven't hooked up this season. They've been on the opposite sides of the draw. Shanks has played Moreno a few times. But, Dave, we've seen some really interesting matches between Charlie and Sean Lenning. Last time they played, Dave, was at the USHA 4-Wall Nationals, and Charlie Shanks just crushed Sean Lenning in 2 easy games, under 12 in both games. And you remember that one time last year in race stop number 2, Sean Lenning perhaps played the greatest match we've ever seen, beating Charlie Shanks 21-8, 21-4, and that was just an incredible performance.
Well, we'll see how that one fares out, as well as Dave Fink versus Luis Moreno, and at 12 o'clock tomorrow. Before that all happens, though, we have the Senior Tour round of 8, I believe, tonight, which is, kind of rare to have those. They're more or less bonus coverage that we're going to bring you tonight. And the reason why is because Matt McLaughlin's going up against Dan Armijo. This is a top senior match. You might see this at a final at one of the 40s or 45s in the future here. It's going to be a marquee match for this evening that will be broadcast live. You and Anthony Celesto will be doing that match.
I'll actually be seeing you tomorrow. I'll be on the court next time I see you.
Okay, well, I'm not shaking your hand.
Oh.
Not going to do it.
So
I am going to take my headset off, and you're going to catch Dave Fink tonight for the remaining 2 matches.
Really?
I've been here all day, and Dave will be doing those. So stick around. We'll have more action in 10 minutes with Dave Fink and the Dave Fink Show here at racefor8.com.
Here we go. We're gonna make some juice.
It's gonna be good.
She's excited. A little bit of kale.
Please don't put this on. I'm putting it all over the line.
It's wet. It needs something. No, it'll go.
Don't break my juicer. Looks good.
You ready to try it?
Come on, baby.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
It's okay.
Okay, all right.
They might surprise you.
Hey, she took another sip. You saw it?
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's one every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
Are you getting this, honey?
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards.
Oh, don't. Oh.
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay, here it comes.
Oh, Mom!
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you. Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
So, what's it gonna be? We could ride bikes, skating, movies, zoo, whatever you guys want to do.
Can we just do this?
Yeah. We could just do this.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.